Aloha, everybody. Again, I'm Malia Nobrigo Oliveira. I'm tuning in from Hanapete, Kauai, and always happy to be hosting Lei Ānuenue with all my friends, and so thankful for all of our partners like Kanayo Kana, and again, I mentioned earlier, it takes so many of our partners to help us go live on everybody's platforms and really get a reach to so many family, friends, community members. And especially during all these times, you know, I gotta say aloha to all the kumus out there and all the haumana and all the makua that are just holding it down. You know, many people had their first week at school and distributing all the technology and making sure everybody's makakau. Yeah, just continue to pule for all of our kumu, our haumana, our makua, and just our kayaulu in general. You know, we, yeah, we're gonna pull through for sure. And I think it's opportunities like this, like Halau Holomoana, that we're gonna learn more about, that even makes it more exciting and things for us to look forward to. So I'm gonna ask our gang here to unmute and then come on, and we'll do a quick ho'olauna, and I know we have some slides that we'll also bring on and some special guests. So I think I'm gonna turn it over to Kahas first.
Aloha mai kako, Bonnie Kahapea-Tanner from Kaneohe, Oahu, and today I'm coming live from Ka'alaya, our home base for Kanehunamoku Voyaging Academy. Aloha.
Mahalo. Who's next?
Loyal.
Oh, wait, let me ask to unmute Loyal. Oh, there we go.
Aloha and good morning, everyone. Mahalo for joining us. My name is Loyal Kekahuna-Baisa. I'm originally from Honopo, Maui, and I now currently reside in Kailua, Oahu. And I'm the program coordinator for Halau Holomoana.
Awesome.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha Malia. Hi everybody. Sorry, kind of nervous over here. I'm Keala Kahuanui. I currently live in Hawaii, Kohala, Hawaii Island. I was raised in Waimanalo, Ko'olaupoko. I'm so honored to be a crew member of Makali'i and Kanehunamoku, and this year's Halau Holomoana's College and Career Counselor. So looking forward to sharing more. Mahalo.
Awesome. Okay, cool. I see our slides are up and we're ready to roll.
Okay, I'm gonna start with our mo'oku auhau. O hokule'a kawahine o mau ke kane. Noho pulawa aloa amai o makali'i he keiki he kia kahi. Holopu o makali'i ka moana nui a kea. Aloa amai o Kanehunamoku ka pula pula he kia kahi. Kia aku ka maka I ka ālihi lani a uiri mai ka mokula. O kualoa ka aina, o kane hoa lani ka pali nana e hi'i. I Keala pono e holo aku ai a ho'i mai. Me ka ike o komua e kau mai ne, e mau mai ka ike a mauloa e. So, aloha mai kako. I just shared with you folks our mo'oku auhau of Kanehunamoku. And her story begins almost 18 years ago at Kualoa, Hakipu'u, when we launched her. She was actually a project of Halau Kumana Public Charter School. And the charter schools were just getting going, just getting started in the ending of 1999 and the beginning of the 2000s. And Halau Kumana, the Alakai Keola Nakanishi had the idea to have a sailing canoe as an outdoor classroom. And I had just returned from our Makali'i voyage to Micronesia called E Mau, Sailing the Master Home, where we were able to take our master navigator, Mau Piailug, home to his islands in Micronesia and Sarawak. And after we left that voyage, you know, we were a lot younger. We were still in college, many of us, and we were kind of feeling a little lost, not knowing you know, what we were gonna do once we came home after having this amazing experience over 3 months on the Makali'i, and just learning so much from him and from our navigator, Shorty Bertelman, our Captain Clay Bertelman, and our other Captain, Chad Paishan. And so when we came home and I found out about this opportunity with Halau Holomoana, I just thought it was the perfect kind of segue of where to go. And who would have known that, you know, almost 20 years later that we would be doing the things we're doing now. So we're really fortunate. And just on the slide here, I want to acknowledge Anakala Eddie Ka'alana. He was one of our dear kupuna for many of us, and he loved the ocean. He really enjoyed sailing, and he actually got to come on board Kanehunamoku and sail home with us from Miloli'i to Kauai High. And he was a really good guide for us and mentor, and continues to be to this day. So that's Anakala down there in his nice life jacket. And then above in the corner, we have, of course, Papa Mau Piailog. And, you know, he taught us so much. I always say when we're teaching with the students that he gave us our eyes. Yeah, he gave us our eyes back and the ability to see. And so how important is that, the gift of sight? And then below him is our fearless and rough cowboy captain, Clay Bertelman. Always demanded excellence out of all of us and would accept nothing less. And so because of these three, you know, a lot of what we do, almost everything that we do at Kanehunamoku is in debt to these guys. So I want to always acknowledge them. So we launched Kanehunamoku on November 19th, 2002. So we're coming up on our 19th birthday. I think there's a slide right before Loyal that shows the launching somewhere in there. We really made a purposeful choice to launch the canoe at Kualoa so that she would be tied into the mo'olelo and to the genealogy of Hokulea. Of course, Hokulea was launched on March 8th, 1975, almost in the very same place. And so we had 10 students that stuck with us after school and helped us put the canoe together. And you can see some of them there. That's 7 of the young men that were part of the crew, and we had 3 wahine. And it was myself, Pua Lincoln, and Kamu Kawai Halau, and we were the kind of the alakai, but you know, we were young and we didn't really know what we were doing. So we relied a lot on just our mentors, but a lot of it was just kind of interesting how the information just came to us at the right time, or the right people would show up when we had a question and we needed something. So it was a really special time, and the launching was awesome. We had all the charter schools come together and celebrate, and yeah, so now I think the next slide. Over the years, we've just expanded. We wanted to continue growing the program, so we do a lot of school programs with preschool all the way to high school, even college and beyond. And then about few years into it, we wanted to really see how we could expand the programs and not only help young people find the love of the ocean and the love of culture and the passion of voyaging, but how do we marry that with some type of a career where our young people can make a livable wage on the water. And so years prior, I had met 2 men. One is Captain Kaipo Pomaikai, and he just retired as the assistant port captain for Sauce Brothers. And that's him on the left with the lei. And on the right, the man in the hat with the aloha shirt is Captain David Kavika Lyman, and he was a harbor pilot. I met these 2 characters, and they are very much characters if you know them. On the back deck, the aft deck of the Tolemore, which was a 3-masted schooner where I worked, and we took young men who were incarcerated or trying to not be incarcerated, and we tried to change their lives around by taking them on the water. And I met these 2 guys, and they talked to these men, these young kids, all about the maritime industry. And I really didn't know too much about it. And so I got really excited, and they were telling their stories about the dreams that they had to get Native Hawaiians and local youth back on the water. And that story and that moment never left me. So years later, when we had this opportunity with our little va'a, Kanehunamoku, we tried to see if we could find kids that would go to sea. Did they want to be mariners? Did they want to be on the ocean and be on tugboats and container ships, and also have that connection to their culture and the community? And so we started this program called Halau Holomoana. And that's the program we're going to focus on today. And Loyal will talk more about it. But I think the foundation of our program is to really ground the students in their sense of place and their kuleana and responsibility to their community. So I'll let Loyal take it over, and she has some things to share because we are recruiting for our next cohort of students.
Mahalo kahas. Yes, again, my name's Loyal Kekahuna. I'm the program coordinator for Halau Holomoana. And as Kahas was sharing, we are definitely looking for youth to share our program with, to encourage you. We encourage you to apply. Currently, applications are available online. You can, I guess I should be putting in our links, in the chat. You can apply online and visit us at our website. Applications were released on July 31st, and they will be closing on August 31st. So go apply, go apply. We just have a few things here on this screen. Excuse me. Eligibility, Native Hawaiian is preference, but it's not required. We are, and this is our first year opening up to sophomores. But again, preference is given to juniors and seniors. We do love bringing students in that are interested in ocean-based and maritime careers, but again, that is also not a requirement. However, due to the changes and challenges of COVID, unfortunately this year we are going to have to restrict applicants to the island of Oahu. And that's really for the safe and well-being of everyone in our communities. I only have two other things to really talk about, our weeknights virtual training and our monthly day sales. So again, because of this changing and challenging times, we have to get very creative, and I'd like to mahalo our staff and crew for all the curriculum creations, the long hours of creating online content and resources and posting using Google Classrooms. Yeah, mahalo to all of you. I know it takes a lot. So once we get online, and we used to do this all in person. All of our training was normally done in person. But now what we're doing is we would like to start our training earlier so that we have the time to do more training online, so that when we do get that opportunity to meet in person and hopefully on the canoe, that's what we will be doing. Majority of the time is sailing, or so we hope. So these are a few things that we'll be doing online. A lot of va'a culture, history, and mo'olelo. Our crew is well versed in, I wouldn't say we're experts, but you know, with the COVID affecting us earlier this year, we really had to get online and create this training and just have fun with this style of new learning, especially on virtual online content. Let's see. So this is just a few pictures that I've selected. You know, for us, our history, our culture is very important. And a lot of this has to do again with our mo'oku auhau that Kahas had shared with us earlier. We do some basic marlin spike training, which I believe I have on the next slide. Yes. So during our in-person training or our day sales, we like to get engaged with the students and keep them focused on the task at hand. And you know, you need more than one person to sail the canoe. You need multiple people. So we will be focusing on teamwork, on building relations, and just the physical aspect of voyaging. I think, actually, Keala, that's my last slide, girl. You're up. But again, I encourage everyone to apply.
It sounds really exciting. And you know what? I was going to jump in because Uncle Kaipo is also tuning in from Las Vegas. And he's saying hi on Facebook. So aloha, Uncle Kaipo.
Oh, hi, Uncle Kaipo. And then, yes, we do much, much more. And that's where our next Tita and Voyager comes in, Keala Kahuanui, who is our college career counselor. So I'm gonna hand it over to her.
Aloha mai kako. Aloha. If you're just tuning in, my name is Keala Kahuanui. I was raised in Waimanalo growing up. I currently live in Hawi Kohala on Hawaii Island. Excited to be this year's Halau Holomoana College and Career Counselor. Honored to be a crew member of Makali'i and of Kanehunamoku. So, as you've heard, we do a lot of training. So my next slide, in any industry, there's got to be some training. There's technical training, there's cultural training. All of these skills help to provide a really sound foundation, a foundation for you to find pride, confidence, build a strong character, really to get through life's challenges. And we will have many of them, as we've seen already. So to build the resilience, all these hands-on mentors, teachers, support systems are helping you to build these skills to be more resilient, yeah? In our next slide, some of the other things that we will cover is building exposure and research skills. We need, a lot of us, even I, did not know hardly anything about the maritime industry. I didn't know, I love the ocean like many of us, yet didn't know that I could make a career of it. So as well as I'm learning so much by being out in the field, visiting these different training centers, colleges, meeting new employees, so will our students. We want to build that capacity for them to understand, do the research on what's out there and find their passion. Due to COVID, of course, maybe we may be restricted to smaller groups, or maybe even send one of our Kanehunamoku Voyage teams to go out there and bring the research back to you virtually, yeah? My next slide. Through the development of your college career plan, through one-on-one counseling support, we help to identify your challenges and of course your resources for overcoming those challenges so that you can really pursue your goals and make them a reality. Now, I'm just one auntie back at our Ka'alaya office. When we're allowed to be in big numbers, we have a bunch of aunties there to help to support. A bunch of big titas, our interns that have graduated from our program, are also there to be that OPO support for you. Beyond that, we have people like Hele Robinson. Hele just graduated this summer from Cal Maritime University, and she was just excited to share her journey, her story on her challenges and her successes. And she just got a job too. So she's on the ship. Oh, sorry about that. Also, another alumni who showed up via virtual Zoom programming is Kona Fairbairn from Ko'olaupoko, who attended the Tongue Point Seamanship Training Center. This is in Astoria, Oregon. He is now employed in Louisiana at a dredging company, and he too got to share some advice on his voyage, on his steps that he took to achieve his goals. Hina Keala, she's a Native Hawaiian student, works in the Native Hawaiian Student Services at Hawaii Manoa. She's a Manoa graduate. She did an awesome job providing a PowerPoint presentation on scholarships, on funding your career, your dream, your pathway. Her story was that she went debt-free. She's still in school and inspired all of us, all of our alumni, invited our parents to come to this session of a student who's making her dreams come true financially. Now, again, I'm just one auntie. There are many others out there. Part of my job is to help you to connect to these resources, to these mentors that'll help you to take you beyond. I gotta stop already because we have another special guest. And he's gonna have to tell his own story, but what was so special about this that he just came off of a tour, off of the ship, and excited to say, yes, I'm there. I'll be on Lei Ānuenue tomorrow. And I would like him to introduce himself, but this is Guile McGurn.
Okay, I see you.
Aloha. Am I on?
Yep, you're good. Go for it.
Okay. Aloha. My name is Guile McGurn. I was in the first cohort of Halau Holomoana in 2014. I graduated from the California Maritime Academy April 2018 with my unlimited tonnage third mate's license. So for me, what Halau Holomoana gave to me was, I guess, a realization that I can make a career out of, a career out of working on the ocean, basically, which is ultimately what I wanted my whole life. Coming out of high school, I knew I wanted to do something on the ocean, whether it was like, marine biology or surfing or, but Halau Holomoana gave me some insight into the maritime industry, which I had no clue about prior to my senior year in high school, which is when I started the program. My mom just kind of sent me into it, recommended that I join the program, and at the time I was so young. To me, it just seemed like another summer fun program, but in the long run, it ended up being so much more than that. And now today, like Auntie said, I just got off of a 42-day job on a container ship, the one behind me, as the third mate. And that's my journey to getting that third mate license all started with just joining Halau Holomoana. It was kind of a tough journey transitioning from high school to going to school on the mainland in California. I had some troubles in school. Thought I wanted to quit college a few times, but I had my my people back here at Halau Holomoana and my parents and all these awesome people from this program kind of helping me through it. So yeah.
Awesome. Wow. We're really happy to have you, and what an amazing story to know that you got started with Halau Holomoana and then was actually able to go through the process and then actually you're at where you're at today. So What an amazing story. What would be maybe a piece of advice you would give to any other Haumana out there that's like, I don't know if this is for me or not? What would you say to them?
I would say, well, I was thinking the same exact thing when I was just that young high school kid just starting out. You know, I would say to them, just go for it. If you don't really know what you want to do after high school, or you're just kind of clueless, you know, which is exactly what I was, I would say just go for it. And I had no idea that if you would have told me that I was going to be driving a 820-foot container ship 5 years ago, I would have said, you're crazy. And so, you know, I would say just go for it. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't, but either way, it's a solid thing to shoot for.
Awesome. And I see a lot of our friends are sharing the application links and everything in our Zoom chat, and then they'll be also sharing it again on our Facebook pages. So I know we got more guests. Is that where we're going next? I'm kind of just looking at our friends.
Okay, so one big thing that we do with Halau Holomoana is we also want to provide the families and the parents with the support. So we asked Gail's mom to join us today and just share a little bit about the parent perspective of the program, and then also just seeing her son in his adulthood and just the whole process and his journey and their journey as a family. Hey, Jennifer.
Hello. You guys can see me, hear me okay? Okay. Yeah, so what Guile said is true, although he didn't quite convey the opposition that he gave me when I suggested that he do the program. He was a senior in high school, as he said, kind of not sure what he wanted to do. I actually came across your program on Facebook, and you know, as a mom, you want your kid to like have some kind of plan. So I did the application with him. He sort of was fighting it. You know, he was playing basketball and he was a senior in high school, and he didn't, you know, the whole thing. But the first weekend he went, we're from Maui, so he had to fly over. The first weekend he went, he had to leave a preseason basketball tournament in Hilo, which he was very unhappy about and he was very pouty about. Even his basketball coach gave us grief. But after that first weekend, when he came home, I knew already it was going to be good, you know. And then the next time he went, he came home, he was completely hooked. Like, you know, I was like, oh, thank God, I was right. So he did the whole program. He loved it. I mean, at the time he applied to Halau Holomoana, you know, he was a senior, so he had already put in applications to UH Manoa and UH Hilo, thinking he was going to apply and maybe do marine science. But we soon kind of realized that was probably not the best fit because, you know, marine biologists aren't out in the ocean really. They're in the lab a lot, which was not what he wanted. He wanted to be out in the ocean. So this seemed like such a better fit. You know, I think you folks and my husband and I, you know, encouraged him to apply to Cal Maritime. He was a decent student, not an amazing student, a pretty average student. So he applied and he got in. And, you know, there's always the financial stuff that's a worry, you know, as parents more than the kids even. And just going to school on the mainland is another big thing. But we got through it all, you know, one thing at a time. And, you know, just as far as funding goes, there are sources out there. You just gotta look. And I mean, he ended up getting a lot of financial help from, you know, a few different sources, and he graduated with very little debt. And my husband and I didn't have to take out any loans, which was amazing. He did struggle at times in college. There was his sophomore year, he ran into an issue. And I remember calling you, Bonnie, and being like, oh my God, he wants to quit. Like, we can't let him quit. What are we gonna do? And you and Captain Ed and everyone jumps into the picture, and he needed letters of recommendation, and everyone from the Halau Holomoana Voyage stepped up, and, you know, he ended up getting through that obstacle. And then that was kind of, from there, he kind of figured it out, and things went okay. You know, he graduated on time. And then, you know, 2 years later now, I'm happy to say he lives on his own. He pays his own bills. He has, you know, good, yes, yay, that's yay for every parent who has a 24-year-old who is like on their own. It's awesome. But we're proud of him. And the best part is he really loves what he's doing, which is huge. He's also been to all over the world. You know, at Cal Maritime, you go on 2 training cruises. So he's been to the Virgin Islands, Spain, Italy, down the Central America coast, Nicaragua. I mean, he's traveled thousands and thousands of miles by ship already, and he's only 24. So that's pretty, it's amazing. And it's all goes back to that fateful decision, if you'd say, of joining Halau Holomoana. And he's now in a position where I think he can give back himself, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome, Jennifer. Mahalo for sharing, you know, the mo'olelo as a mom, as a parent, and for being real about it, that, you know, as parents, we're all, you know, we juggle these kinds of decisions, and we're always trying to lead our keiki on the best path that we, you know, feel would really bring them to that next step. And I thank you for sharing that part about like basketball, Halau Holomoana. I'm really feeling like I gotta follow my na'au. My na'au is telling me like, I think this is the better decision, gal, and we just gotta do this as a ohana. And I love seeing that, you know, where we're at today, and, you know, to hear that part of the mo'olelo. So thank you. And yeah, maybe I similarly to what I asked Gal, like, what would be, I guess, another piece of advice you would share with makua to parents out there that are also trying to juggle everything they are today and be like, oh, I think you just gotta jump on it and take the chance?
Yeah, I would say we do know our kids pretty well. Actually, sometimes I think better than they know themselves, especially when they're teenagers. I knew what kind of a person he was, and I knew he wasn't a lab guy or a math guy. I mean, and I just knew that if I could just get him to try it, that he'd like it. And so, you know, we fought a little bit about it, and I kind of pushed, I kind of forced at first, but, you know, I mean, you can only do that for so long in your kids' lives. But it, you know, it worked out. And the other thing I would say as a parent is, you know, price tags are always scary when you're looking at college, and it's like, how are we going to afford that? I mean, we were not in a position to be able to afford, I don't know, 40 grand a year, I think it was. But, you know, there is help out there, and Cal Maritime isn't the only, you know, way to get into the industry. Bonnie, guys know all there is to know about all the other avenues. But even if you decide to go the college route, you know, there's help out there. You just have to be a little bit persistent, and don't be afraid to ask or knock on doors, because sometimes the best thing comes, you know, out of nowhere. So
awesome. You know, that made me think about a lot of our my civic club Ohana. I'm a member of the Hawaiian civic clubs, and civic clubs give out a lot of scholarships, but I haven't heard any of the civic clubs really targeting students that are going into this field, because normally, you know, we follow the usual kinds of scholarship routes, right? You have to be in four-year institution or working towards a bachelor's or something like that. And so I want to put out a kahea to all of our civic club leaders to really consider thinking about, you know, putting some monies aside that we can support students like this that are going into the maritime industry, because look at where our students can go. So all my civic club friends out there, and I'm gonna bring it up at our next board meeting and everything, and just to funders in general, I think, you know, let's be creative and find ways that we can support all these different types of educational opportunities.
And I will say one other thing too. Gail went to Kamehameha School on Maui, and you know, the college counselor there, she didn't know anything about Cal Maritime or anything about the maritime industry. And after he went off to college, and there was a documentary that was made about their journey. And anyway, he flew back to Kamehameha Maui when he was, I think, a sophomore in college. And they showed that movie to the entire school, K through 12. And he spoke about it. And, you know, the college counselor and some of his teachers came up to me afterwards, and they were like, wow, I mean, why aren't we telling more kids about this? Why, you know, this industry that's such a huge piece of Hawaii, why are we not even mentioning this? Why are we not, you know, offering this to our students? So I think it was a big eye opener for them too. Just, they didn't know.
Awesome, mahalo. Hahas, who's next?
All right, so mahalo Jennifer and mahalo Gail for sharing that. I think it's so important for the community to hear it from people that have been through the program, and so mahalo you guys. Next, we want to bring up Captain Ed Enos. He is a Honolulu Harbor pilot, and he is also the Vice President of Kanehunamoku Voyaging Academy. And he's just been amazing support and mentor to our students at Halau Holomoana. And yeah, so we want to bring up Captain Ed Enos, talk a little, maybe Ed, you could share a little bit about your story, about how you got to where you are.
Aloha everybody from Kailua here in Oahu. And okay, Bonnie, thanks. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff trying to squeeze in here, but just like Gail, I went through a similar program years ago, long before Halau Holomoana was even around, and transitioned from that in high school into working on a lot of different tour boats here on Oahu, fishing boats, tour boats, sailing boats. I was going to Inter-Island. As a young, you know, high school graduate, I sailed all over the South Pacific on a 65-foot sailboat, and you know, I was really enjoying it, loving it, and all that. But I had no idea what Cal Maritime even was. I met Dave Kavika-Lyman along the way, you know, when I was fairly young, and he kept telling me about this place called Cal Maritime Academy in San Francisco. So I applied to go there, and they told me, nope, your high school grades were horrible, so they didn't accept me. So I went back to community college here again, Keala Community College in Honolulu. I did that for a year and a half, got my good grades, reapplied to Cal Maritime, and I entered Cal Maritime when I was 22 years old. So I wasn't, you know, from high school to a college kind of guy. And it was, like Gail, for me, and I tell everybody this, it was really hard. I actually took a year off and then went back to school. So it took me 5 years to get to Cal Maritime. But, you know, it was worth the hard work and effort. I got through it and enjoyed it, and it paid off. You know, I went out there in the industry and worked for about 7 years on ships like Guile. I sailed all over the world, Africa and Asia and, you know, Middle East and everything, you know, different kinds of ships. And then I applied for the job that I have today, which is a harbor pilot, where the guys that go out and get on the ships and bring them into the harbor. Not just here in Honolulu, but we go to the Big Island, Kauai, Maui all the time. We do cruise ships, tankers, container ships, everything. So, you know, this has been a really rewarding career. And to all the parents out there and the students that are watching, I would tell you that, you know, Hawaiians have an affinity for the ocean. You're like the perfect person we want to work on a ship, on a tug, on a boat. When you guys go to the beach and you surf and you swim and you play and you fish or you paddle canoe or you, whatever you're doing, that's the kind of person that, you know, that you uniquely are, that is a perfect fit for being on a boat or on a ship somewhere. You know, you have no fear of the ocean. And I've always been amazed when I sailed before how, you know, amazingly how many people are actually afraid of the ocean, even though they're out there working on it. So when we grab you when you're a high school student, we put you on the Kanehunamoku canoe and we take you out there and you're learning all this stuff, you know, how to run the boat and how to work together. That's like a stepping stone, you know, to an introduction to the industry. The maritime industry, when I say the industry, I mean, whether you're working on a tour boat here in Honolulu or a fishing boat that's going all, you know, a couple hundred miles offshore, or like Guy, you're working on a ship that's going, you know, to the West Coast and back. There's all kinds of jobs here. And these jobs pay good money. They are out there. There's a lot of big companies here in Honolulu that would like to hire more local people, because if they don't hire local people to work on, say, tugs that are working out of Honolulu, they have to fly guys in from the mainland. They don't want to do that, but they have to. So they have to spend money on flying crews in as far away as from the East Coast to come work on tugs here in Honolulu. That's ridiculous. So we sat down with Bonnie and Uncle Layton and some other people for Matson and Horizon and Young Brothers, Foss, all these local companies, and they're telling us, we want to hire you guys. We want to hire local people. How come we can't hire people from here? We want to put you guys on our ships, on our boats, but they're not licensed, they're not trained, they're not certified. So that's when Bonnie put this program together. We sat down, we kind of laid it out, you know, several years ago. You know, how do we get these kids to even know about, like Jennifer was talking about, even the schools don't know about the industry. So we did this thing where we kind of like sort of guide people, you know, you come to Halau Holomoana, you learn the basics. I think some of the guys even went into the Marimed's training program, and then eventually they go out into the industry. Now, we've been talking a lot about Cal Maritime, which is a great thing to do. If your kid is college inclined, that's like the place to go to. But we have more guys actually even going to like Tongues Point, like Bonnie talked about, through the vocational program. You can get into this industry and you do not have to go to college. You can be a success even if you don't go to Cal Maritime. So we've got, I think, one student now at Piney Point, Bonnie, in Baltimore. And we have now people at Tongues Point in Astoria, Oregon. There's even some Hawaiian kids that I know that are working with the Columbia River bar pilots on their pilot boat as crew. The pilots there have told me those guys are awesome. They're fearless. And that is one of the roughest, most dangerous places to work. And they said these Hawaiian kids that are working for us are like the best. So I would encourage parents and students to check it out. Check out our program first as a stepping stone into the industry. Go research the industry, good jobs, good benefits, good career path. Man, you can work here in Hawaii. You can work anywhere in the Pacific. Or you can be like Kona, you can go work on the mainland, you can go work all over the world and come home and live here. And, you know, I talk about Kona a lot because he's got this great job down there that he's had for, gosh, I think he's been there for at least a year or so, working on a dredge as an able seaman, making good money. Company flies him from Honolulu to Louisiana every month, and they fly him home. So he's got like the best of both worlds, and it's a great thing. Now I want to mention one more thing that's kind of important. There's probably a lot of girls watching or parents watching who have daughters. This industry, as male dominated as it is, embraces having women on board. And so like we talked about Hile. She's from here. She just got out. She's in the industry now. I'm going to talk about the Dave Lyman Scholarship in a minute. We just had another woman, Tressie Ostermiller, who didn't go to Halau Holomoana, but she's a woman we supported financially through Cal Maritime. She just got out. And the winner last year, or the recipient of the Lyman Scholarship, was another girl from Kauai that we're supporting financially for the next 4 years. And my wife went to Cal Maritime. She worked for a big oil company in the West Coast. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here for women. You know, again, I know it's a male-dominated kind of field, but you know, Hawaiians are embraced, women are embraced. The industry is dying for diversity in their fleets. And if you wonder why there aren't more women out there, like most people, they don't know about their job, or they're kind of anxious, like, how am I going to do this? Bonnie and the Halau Holomoana staff put together this great video. There's a girl that works down at Young Brothers Foss right now, Tiare. We did a big interview with her. She's awesome. She's a great deckhand. So, so check it out. Let's see. So the Lyman Scholarship. So if you go to Cal Maritime, I want to mention this real quick. We will give you, if you apply, first of all, and usually we have about 3 or 4 people apply every year from Hawaii. If we select you, we will give you financial aid each of the 4 years that you're there. It's not a one-time thing. So it's been as little as about $2,300 a year to as much as almost $3,000 a year, depending. It kind of changes every year. So we do support people. We supported Guile. We supported Duke Quiteves. He just got up to, and Tressie. So the help is there. The assistance is there. And let's see, what else? Oh, and so, yeah. So I want to reach out to the funders and the other entities out there, Kamehameha Schools, all you counselors, anybody who wants to know more about not just even, you know, Halau Holomoana, but even the industry, please reach out to us. You know, we have people, myself and Bon and others, you know, we're happy to go to the school, talk to you, meet you, bring guys like Guile and Duke and Tressie to you, and talk and meet and talk to the students and answer questions and all that, to help try to like understand what this is all about. How do they do it? How do they get there? Anything we can do to help, you know, the awareness, and down the road, this all pays off. It benefits not only you guys, the applicants, the students, the teachers, but it benefits our industry. And our industry, again, like I said, is dying to get more and more local people into it. So check us out online. You can follow me on Instagram. Hi, Captain Ed. A little bit of videos and pictures of the industry, you know, from our point of view. You know, contact me or contact Bonnie. Again, if you've got any more questions about anything, please help us. You know, we'll help you. We'll help you out.
Mute. Mahalo. That was so many great resources. And I think, you know, kahea again out to others to really share, whether you're a counselor, you're an auntie, you're an uncle, kupuna, you know, let your ohana keiki know that there is this field that is really open and opening doors for so many. Yeah. Awesome. Mahalo. Yeah, for our
Are there any questions, Malia? Any questions?
You know, I'm seeing a lot of more comments here, you know, like saying aloha to and mahalo to Anakala Leighton Siu, Papa Pi'i Anai'a, Kimo Lyman, Dave Lyman, Auntie Penny is giving shout outs to all of them and really saying mahalo. I'm also seeing, you know, a lot of comments about supporting all the different opportunities and finding ways, again, you know, for others to contribute to scholarships and supporting our students in different ways.
Yeah, can I say real quick, Malia, that in as much as we're doing this program today for the students and helping the parents understand as well too, anybody, like I said, that's watching that has the ability or resources or access to resources or to others who can support Kanehunamoku, who can support the Lyman Scholarship, who can support the kids. You know, it's a constant effort to find funding and assistance so that we in turn can help, you know, the students from here. So if you're one of those people who has that ability or has the information on, you know, how you can pass on to support what we're doing, we'd really appreciate it. You know, any kukua you can provide would be awesome. And again, you guys can contact Bonnie directly and or me, you know, to provide any information and help that would be a huge help for all of us.
Awesome. And I see a good question in the Zoom chat here, and maybe there's others on Facebook that may be wondering some of this. Mahina, who's a senior, is interested in applying to Halau Holomoana and is asking a question on how often will virtual trainings take place and how often will sales take place? Maybe just to give us an idea, Loyal or Kaz, anybody?
Sure. So currently we're still kind of in the planning of the agenda, especially our monthly agenda, but we are looking at doing weeknights for our virtual session. And then we kind of want to align it so that whatever content that we are focusing on in the weekday, we will be actually using that content on board the va'a over the weekend. So we will be meeting in person once a month. It'll be over the weekend. We are not doing any camps just yet. We're hoping that we'll be able to build everyone up with the proper safety protocols and to where we will be able to one day hopefully hold some kind of overnight camp so that we are able to also observe or continue to use our kilo during the sunrise and kind of tie that into the navigational part. And I did really quick, Malia, wanted to thank our funders, Alulike and ANA, Administrative for Native Americans, for helping us with, of course, funding the program and giving this opportunity to our youth. So mahalo.
So are we looking at weekly virtual meetings? I'm seeing that question come up here. Is it weekly virtual meetings in the evenings?
Most likely, but again, we're still kind of like, we also want to hear from the students. We want to know what kind of schedule they're on. You know, to our understanding, currently everyone is doing virtual schooling right now. So hearing from our students, we might be able to make a better schedule so that we're all able to jump on at the same time. Keala and I also had a great idea of doing virtual learning where we will be sharing the same content, hopefully 2 nights. That way, if our students cannot make it to, say, a Tuesday night, we will be available to also redo it on a Thursday night. We're also learning how to use our recording button. And then, you know, we could also share it in that fashion. Mahalo, Mahina, for those questions.
Yeah, great questions, Mahina. And I'm sure many others are wondering that too. So, yeah.
Malia, I just wanted to add really quickly too that the names that Auntie Penny commented about on the Facebook, the Pi'ia Nai'as, you know, Uncle Kaipo, of course, and so many great professional mariners that we've had in our genealogy, you know, of Hawaiian mariners, going all the way back to Pelema and all of that. So like Captain Ed said, you know, this is a natural profession for us, and we just want to promote that. And the original funding, when we first put this together, I think nobody thought that anyone would ever fund us because it was such a crazy idea. But the initial funding we did get was from OHA. And so we're very grateful for that, because now we're on our 8th year. We're just going to start our 8th cohort. And again, 20 years ago, I never would have thought this is where we would be doing. And so we're so blessed to be able to share all of this ike from our kupuna.
Awesome. So I'm seeing some questions. Is enrollment open now and all of that? So yes, enrollment is open. It closes on August 31st. Maybe, Loyo, you can bring up that slide again. I wonder if we can bring that back up. And yeah, go apply. And, feel free to reach out if you have questions. And, as we bring this slide back up, I don't know, I gotta throw this question out to Keala. You know why? Because Keala and I started talking story when Makali'i was coming back from the most recent voyage, and I was just so blown away about like all the amazing mea'ai that they were making, the aipono that was on the Makali'i voyage. Is that some of what they're gonna get a sense of too as a part of Halau Holomoana?
You know, girl, we all about food as well and provisioning. So, that was part of our plan for our voyage, right? Part of this Halau Holomoana includes a voyage experience. And absolutely, we need to improve our eating, our wellness, our well-being. So yes, that will be applied as often as we can meal together, And, but yes, of course, definitely. Thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, awesome. So you guys can see on the slide here where you can go get the information for the application and go look for them on Facebook and Instagram. Again, you have till August 31st. So what's that? 10 more days, one more anahulu to go and complete it and submit the application. And of course, you can always reach out to any one of them for questions or any follow-up. And then you can also put your questions on our on the Facebook pages. I'm sure our gang will go and check that out. So maybe as we wrap it up, before I bring my slides, I'm wondering if there's any closing mana'o, and maybe we'll start from, I'll see if Gail has any last mana'o to share as a graduate, and yeah, any last thoughts?
Sure. I liked what Captain Ed had to say when he was talking about how Hawaiians are just kind of naturally the best people for a job on the waterfront. I think I wanted to say something like that, that I think as Hawaiians, we kind of, a part of us kind of belongs on the ocean, because it's in our blood. So I think a maritime career is a good choice for any Hawaiian. So Halau Holomoana is a good place to start.
Awesome. Captain Ed, any last mana'o?
It'd be like Brother Boo, you gotta stay in school. That's where it all starts. So mom, dad, students, I mean, look at me and Gail, man, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard for me. So, but even if you don't go to college, you gotta be a good, you gotta read, you gotta write, you gotta do math and all that. You gotta stay in school, work hard in high school. It starts there. You got to be self-disciplined. It's hard work. It's a great job, big money and all that, but it's hard work. So it starts in school. work hard in school, do well, and then anything after high school is piece of cake, but it starts in high school.
Awesome, awesome advice. And I remember Uncle Kaipo's mo'olelo that we shared here before really talks about that as well. And ho'olohe, nana kamaka, ho'olohe kapepea, and just, you know, keep doing that and being a part of your community. So Keala, any last mana'o?
We're just the extra village people here, you know, here to assist you to get to your goals, whether it's the maritime industry or ocean-based industries. Let us know however we can help, but you gotta want it too, okay? You gotta show up. You gotta wanna be hungry and go someplace, and we'll be there. Mahalo.
Awesome. Loyal?
Yes, so go apply. Early is on time is late, and late is unacceptable. So if your application is late, you know, don't wait till last minute. There are a few questions you have to answer, and our applications do tend to get competitive. So good luck, gang. Have a good day.
Mahalo. Kahas?
Yeah, just a huge mahalo to everybody, our awesome crew, Captain Ed, Gaio, and Jennifer for joining us today, and especially to Malia Kanai Okana for providing us this platform. We're gonna do another one on this coming Tuesday evening, and we'll have a few more students to share their mo'olelo, so come join us on that. Check us out on our Facebook page, I guess, for more information. And then also we just showed on Facebook too, the documentary of our very first cohort done by Ruben Carrillo. So I think that's still available online, where you can go watch the 1 hour long documentary. So go check that out. But if you have any questions, like Captain Ed said, we're just really excited about and passionate about getting our people out there on the water. So even if you don't come to our program, we will still help you. We are the village, like Keala said. We're that extra village out here to help the families out there navigate a maritime pathway. And just want to say mahalo to everybody, all of our kumu, all of our kupuna that have helped us guide us to this point today, because there's no way we would have gotten this far without them guiding us. So very grateful for this path that we're on.
Mahalo. Mahalo nui, you guys. I loved learning more about Halau Holomoana. And so good luck to all the ohana keiki on Oahu. So again, unfortunately this year it's only for ohana keiki on Oahu. But you know, our younger ones on the outer islands, the other islands, you know, you can still prep. Like Captain Ed said, you know, keep going to school and doing good in school, because you're going to need some of that basic skills. So, you know, there's going to be other opportunities, and we keep moving forward. As you can see on our screen here, we always ask you to help us serve you better by answering a few of our survey questions. It takes just a few minutes. kanaiokana.net/survey is where you can access our evaluation and give us other topic ideas that you might be interested in. So again, kanaiokana.net/survey. And you know, next Friday at 9 a.m., we'll be doing a special presentation on High Hawaii with Tai Sanga and Layana Kanoa Wong. And so we invite you all to come back next week, Friday, to learn more about High Hawaii, and also they have a short film to share. Today at 12 o'clock is our Aikole show with Ekelakani LPO Crozier. And it's always an ono time to go bring your lunch, your aipono. If you get kole, if you get poi, if you get sardines, whatever it is, bring them, sit down together in front of your computer with your device and aikole kole with Ekela and our friends. Again, that's today at 12 p.m. And actually, after we're logging off here at 11, if you want to join us on the Facebook platform, a bunch of kumuhula are doing a press conference today and sharing a cultural response to COVID-19. And so a bunch of kumuhula are coming together for this press conference. So we invite you guys to come back and join us for that. A big mahalo again to our Halau Holomoana crew, our gang, our team. Like they said, it takes a village to really get this all done and to just share. I'm thankful that they came on and shared their mo'olelo today. Thanks again to Kanaiokana, always our lead partner with Hawaii Nui Akea and so many others. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay connected and to get more information about what's coming up next, because we always got some great programs. So aloha again, everybody. Have a safe weekend, a beautiful weekend, and aloha.
Okay, mahalo.
Mahalo.
Safe. Wow, thanks, Malia.
Awesome.